Hello, hello everyone. So today we'll be looking at primary key and foreign keys. So first of all, what is a primary key? A primary key is a constraint basically. Now what are constraints? Constraints are used to define any special condition that we would like to have on a column name. For example, suppose you create a table. I have taken the option and created a customers table. I haven't run this. This is the command. So when you try to create a table, some columns you would like them to have a value, like the name should never be empty. In such cases you can keep them as not null. Now SQL gives us the option of creating multiple conditions. If you want to know, you can see all the different type of constraints, but we'll be focusing on primary key, not null, unique and foreign key for the current video. Now what is primary key is basically not null when you add this to a unique keyword, and if both the constraints are there, it will be similar to your primary key with one major difference. Okay, now what primary key is make sure that whatever the value in the column is never null, that is, it should always have some value and that it should be unique. Both of these are also constraints, but they do not give you the same liberacy as the primary key. Also, primary key can be used to record, like for example you have a table, okay, and it has 10,000 records. What you'll do is, each place where you specify your id, suppose it is a primary key, what you'll do is your id will be unique for all the 10,000 rows. So if you want one row, you can search it easily by giving the id number. Okay, suppose for example, even a company having 10-20,000 employees, the every employee has a unique id number which can be used to get all of his details. Okay, next you have not null and unique. Foreign key we'll explain later on. So how to define this primary key? To define primary key, either you can write over here. Okay, here you can write with a space, or removing this you can write primary key. Okay, and this is called as column definition of constraint. But in our case we'll be doing with a table definition. Table definition is we define at the end of the table. So table definition will include writing constraint followed by a constraint name. This name will be unique throughout your database, a primary key, and which column is defined as the primary key. You may or may not include a space. So let's run it once. Okay, you created a table. Now what happens is, sometimes you would like to create this table, but suppose you don't want to have the primary key, or you would like to disable it for some time. So we'll see how we can drop it or disable it. To drop a primary key, what you'll do is drop, okay, wait, alter. First you are trying to alter the table. Now which table are you trying to alter? It is customers, so customers. Okay, alter table customers. Now what you would like to like is drop, then constraint, because it's a constraint that we are trying to drop, and then you'll write the constraint name. In our case it is cust id primary key. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so your constraint is deleted. uh, on the other hand, you can also alter and create a new constraint by doing the alter table customers add. Now you're adding a constraint because last time it was deleted. Now constraint name, that is customer id primary key. Now you'll have to define it again, that is primary key, and then the column name. Okay, so this is the way. Now let's just check the description to see what is the current table description. DSC and table name will allow you to see the description and all the columns and their constraints. Okay, so you have id, name and age, all of which are not null. number, varchar and everything is available, but primary key data is not visible. So sometimes you might need to see that primary key. To do that, there are two data directories. Now what are data directories? I'll not get into this, but there are two data directories that you can use, and those are user underscore constraints and user underscore cons underscore columns. These two directories will give you the detail of every constraint available in your database tables. Okay, to run them we'll just select star from the following tables and you get your details. I'll just okay, let's run user constraints. These are the constraints available on user tables, and it takes the time. It'll give you each and every table available, who is the owner, which user, what is the constraint name, constraint type, okay, in which table it is defined, what are the search condition, okay, the owner of the constraint, constraint name, okay, all of it. So for example, now anonymous user, I am logged in as anonymous. I have just created customer ID pk, which is the primary key on the table customers, and it is enabled currently. Okay, so this is the detail. On the other hand, if we run user cons column, it is all the constraints which are defined on column name, which table it is defined, which column name, and the position of the column. You can get these two detail. Now we saw here that this particular customers uh, primary key was enabled. Suppose you would like to keep it but just disable it for some time. In that case, what you'll do is, instead of dropping a constraint, you'll just disable it. The structure is just the same, but instead of drop we write disable. Okay, and that's it. Let's run it and then check. Okay, table is altered. We'll rerun this query and see if our customer ID is still enabled. It has been disabled. Okay, that's it for primary key. In the next video I'll tell you how we use foreign key along with the primary key. Thank you.